Hey guys, this right here was one of the first houseplants I ever got. It was small, incredibly small, way back when, and now it's finally becoming a more substantial size. The rubber plant has to be one of the most popular houseplants, hands down, and there's good reason for it. I'm going to be sharing everything you need to know and more. The rubber plant is in the Ficus family, just as is the fiddle leaf fig tree. I've done a couple of videos on my fiddle leaf figs, and if you haven't seen those yet, check those out now. I'm gonna throw up a link. I cover pruning in one of my fiddle leaf fig videos, and in the other one I did, I cover notching and pinching. So if those are of interest to you, please check those out. The rubber plant is not from or native to South Africa. Shocking, I know. These plants are actually endemic to Asia and South Asia. Don't worry though, I'll have some upcoming South African houseplants coming up, I'm sure. Anyways, the rubber plant does come in a few different varieties other than the one I have here. There are variegated varieties of the rubber plant, as well as one they call the ruby, which has some reds and pinks in it, which is pretty cool. These plants make great houseplants, hence their popularity, and really do offer some beautiful foliage. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and dare to say that the rubber plant is the quintessential houseplant. Let me know whether or not you agree with me. Sound off in the comments down below. All right, in this video, I'm going to be covering all the crucial care tips that you need to know to care for the rubber plant, but also a couple of extra super important, really helpful tips as well. I won't be sharing any propagation tips for the rubber plant today in this video. Maybe I'll save that for another video. Thanks for checking out this video. I'm Tyler, and if you like what you're seeing or you find this video to be useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, or better yet, you can subscribe to my channel. So when it comes to growing a healthy and vibrant rubber plant, here is what you need to know. These plants thrive in bright, indirect sunlight with definitely a few hours of direct sunlight as well. I keep mine in a south-facing window, and actually this rubber plant here is in front of my glass sliding doors that head out back. So it is really in one of the spots in my house that gets the most light, if you will. Now, in terms of watering it, I do water my rubber plant when the topsoil gets dry, which is usually on a weekly basis. Now, part of what makes the rubber tree so fantastic, especially as far as I'm concerned, is that these plants don't need extra humidity. That's kind of amazing because, in all honesty, I am tired of constantly filling up humidifiers all of the time. I have fertilized my rubber plant in the growing season in the summer months in the past. Now, I haven't always done this every summer, but when I have done it, I have used a well-balanced liquid diluted fertilizer. And typically, I would fertilize this probably once, every couple of weeks. This container or basket that I have my rubber plant in is a pretty decent size. It's definitely on the larger side, so I definitely won't need to be repotting this plant anytime soon. If you are in need of repotting your rubber plant into a new container, however, the best time to do that is during the growing or summer months. And let me tell you what type of soil works best. A good soil mix for the rubber plant is something that has really good drainage. So you could think of some sort of succulent type soil mix. Now, it's been a while since I potted this up in this container, so I don't remember exactly what I've used, and that's in part because I did a little topsoil with a nice sort of aesthetic looking grit, but I believe I used some sort of coconut coir and peat moss soil mix, probably with some added extra perlite. All right, I just did a quick dig and it looks like I did use as well some pretty large pieces of bark. So again, that's gonna help with drainage and aeration. So perfect for the rubber plant. Either way, I don't think if you can get some good drainage that these houseplants are too picky when it comes to the soil mix that you are gonna be using. That being said, however, they do prefer a slightly acidic environment. So basically what I do when I remember is I can use an additive to some water that basically is created for acid-loving plants, and there's a few products out on the market that work just fine. So that's something to consider if you are interested in growing one of these at home. All right, so those are the basic sort of general care tips in a nutshell. There are, however, a few other important tips that I want to share with you guys, things that I do just to ensure that you are growing a nice healthy plant. For example, it's a good idea to give your leaves and foliage a good wipe down or spray every now and again, basically for two reasons. The first reason being it's gonna look a lot better once you get that dust off it. And the more important reason is that's gonna help the plant convert the sun into energy and the things that it needs. So it's a good idea to make sure that you do sort of wipe down and clean the leaves. And you know, this guy's almost probably ready for another sort of cleaning. Another pro tip and something that I do regularly and something that I'm conscientious of is rotating the plant. I do find that, as you can see, I have like kind of three woody stems coming up here, and I do find that these plants will move quickly enough to sort of direct and orient themselves in terms of where the sun is coming. So by rotating your plant, you know, probably once a month or something like that, it just helps keep, for me, this plant a little bit more upright and sort of centered. You know, there's nothing wrong with it kind of having a leaning Tower of Pisa, but for me, I think by rotating it and just keeping it, you know, nice and upright, if you want to move it to a different spot somewhere, some time down the road, then you're just going to have a nice sort of centered plant. So that's something to keep in mind. Another really great feature and something that I find super fascinating and interesting, and again, what makes this plant just so much fun as a house plant, is the way that the new leaves come in this sort of burgundy color, and how they unfurl and unravel is just really cool. And I'm not sure if you can see, but this one has already started to unravel. I'll get some footage of that for sure. And it's just, like I said, it's just kind of the perfect houseplant. Well, that's it for me. Oh yeah, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up or hit that subscribe button. Miss you guys already. Until the next one.